Welcome to this cosmic adventure, where you'll witness the miracles and challenges of humanity. But the surrounding water seemed to have its own bodyguards, refusing to leave. Despite their utmost caution, a little droplet decided to crash the party inside. Victor tried to power the space station, but it was like playing hide and seek with wires no response. Walt was suited up like Superman in space, and after his external inspection, he was shocked to find an art piece left by the collision. Turns out the culprit behind the power failure was those poor deformed sensors. The commander immediately rallied the engineers to whip up a little model for some research on the counter. Walt was ordered back to the ship. He was cut off mid-speech. He hurriedly contacted Victor, only to hear the shocking news that the spaceship was smoking talk about a bad day in astronaut life. Through the window, Walt saw ship chaos. He rushed back like a rocket, finding Victor tossed like a wind-blown balloon. Walt completely disregarded the safety strap without any hesitation. Jumped out with a clear and determined goal, barely managing to steady his figure at that moment. He was truly like a space knight. Subtitle: Woe hurriedly rushed towards the hatch, and the interior had turned into a scene resembling a chaotic cosmic party, with 8 hours of lost contact driving their families to the brink of despair. In the astronaut team, the commander got an order to destroy the station, a tough but necessary choice. The Soviets had no choice but to comply, especially since the American rocket had already taken off. Injured Victor was lucky to be alive, but their ship was devoured by flames. The spacecraft's destroyed, there in a cooled space station as space icebox. After re-establishing contact with the ground, We'll brief them on their space life. The fire had toasted their oxygen equipment, a real cosmic comedy. The fire made things chaotic, turning this station into a fire museum. The aftermath of the fire was like a runaway horse, and the oxygen in the space station was running low in absolute tragedy for space refugees. Currently, oxygen levels are alarming. All tanks combined barely suffice for one person's 68-hour breath and extreme cosmic reality show. For 2 people, that meant 34 hours each, which translates to only 1 can survive. The commander felt like he was thrown into a volcano. Now it wasn't about whom to save, but about deciding who would be the tragic hero. But time gave him no chance to hesitate. He went to his office, mind in chaos. He connected with Woe, who was the most experienced astronaut, while Victor was still nursing his wounds. So he had to rely on Woe to handle the cleanup, finding himself in a heartbreaking command situation. Faced with the order of sacrificing for the motherland, Woe remained surprisingly calm. Are astronauts really superheroes? He ended the call and looked up at the light, suddenly transformed into a philosopher. Poetic thoughts flowed in his heart. The spring breeze greens the southern bank. When will the bright moon shine on my home? He thought of the warmth back home. Woe was a family man too. His wife and daughter were brought into the control room for their final call. Guy, when will you come back? First, I need to do some things here. The bonds of life made for a heavy contradiction. Okay, we are all patiently waiting for you, Woe. Can you hear me now? I love you. I love you too. At the distant edge of the universe, time felt like a dream. Faced with death, Woe remained composed. He even pulled out a cigarette to ease the tension. Talk about a bold move. Victor was puzzled by this. With oxygen running low, how could he be so relaxed? But Woe simply told him what had just happened, trying to soothe his friend. But Victor instantly rejected the idea. He wouldn't be able to face his family if he survived alone. It would be like fishing without bait. As long as we can remove the broken sensor, our oxygen levels can normalize, he insisted. After a round of discussions, Woe saw the determination in Victor's eyes and decided to support his choice. In their final moments, the 2 suited up and prepared to venture out together. Victor secured them to the space station with safety ropes, gearing up for a cosmic bang. With a big hammer in hand, Woe started what might be the most primitive hammering in the cosmos, only to find the metal pipe was as stubborn as a mute drum. As time ticked away, their hopes began to sink, anxiously waiting for a break in the tension. The beautiful blue planet of Earth starkly contrasted with the despair in their hearts, losing the brightness of the sun. They watched the interconnected lights on Earth and reminisced about the beautiful past, when Victor suddenly recalled the law of metal breaking at low temperatures. Clinging to the last hope, they resumed the relentless hammering well down on Earth. The commander finally vented his frustration by swinging a big hammer. Subtitles. The two individuals in space witnessed the sun rising above the horizon, and with the shedding of the damaged parts, it seemed as though everything was imbued with new vitality. Suddenly, the sensor panel lit up green, and the solar panels began to rotate toward the sunlight. A thrilling moment. All internal electrical units restarted, like divine help arrived. For Walt and Victor, this was a miraculous rebirth, while the commander saw it as a divine redemption. To their utter surprise, the American space shuttle had already flown behind them, a remarkable coincidence. Watching the restarted space station, the astronauts in the shuttle gazed at them through the window, offering heartfelt respect.